Hey, Fragrance Family, I'm Daver.
And I'm Pep.
And we're the Fragrance
Fragrance
Bros.
Bros.
Coming at you again with another review, again with Pep from the Sentinel. How are you doing, Pep?
I'm good, Dave, thank you. How are you?
Doing good. Glad to have you on. It's a great, bright, early morning here in the United States, and I think it's a really late night for you.
But I'm nice and warm, and I'm awake now, so it's all good.
And today we are reviewing Eros from Versace. All right, so let's get straight to it. Date introduced is 2012. It's classified as an aromatic fougere. Notes are green apple, lemon, tonka, ambroxan, and geranium. Now, Pep, what did you get out of longevity out of this?
Longevity for Versace Eros on my skin is actually pretty good. I get about 8 hours on this on my skin.
Yeah, I agree. I got maybe a little bit more, maybe 8, 9, sometimes maybe 10. So pretty strong, I would say.
Yeah.
What about projection?
Projection was very, very good for the first few hours, I have to admit, and certainly noticed, and even with my arms away from me, I could because I did spray this on my arms, and it was really coming to my nose quite strongly. So I would say the projection is pretty good for me on this one.
Yeah, I totally agree with that as well. It was one of those where my wife did not like how strong it was. So it was in the excellent range, I would say, for projection. Season, I think this works in spring and fall, and maybe mostly at nighttime. And for purpose, I think this is maybe good for formal. I'm not really sure. All right, so Pep, what does this remind you of?
Dave, what it reminds me of is probably fragrance similar to fragrances that I may have worn when I was a young man and going out dancing and trying to meet girls. And definitely something that I don't wear anymore. But another thing it did remind me of is there's another fragrance that I consider to be in this type of genre, and it's Jean-Paul Gaultier's Ultra Male.
Okay.
And I'm not sure what your opinion on that particular fragrance is, but what it reminds me of is how good that fragrance is compared to this one. And if you look at some of the notes, they actually share some similar notes. So this one has apple, lemon, and mint. That one, the Ultra Male, has pear and mint, and it's just done very well. The Ultra Male. So it reminds me of how good something in this genre can be, and also how bad this particular one is.
You know, there's a phrase that I use, and when I say something smells like the mall, it has the quote molecule, and this definitely has the molecule. It smells like the mall, but it smells like a perfume counter after the day is over, after all there's just that cloud where all the fragrances kind of commingle together and just has that generic kind of perfume smell, and that's what this kind of smells like. I was hoping that it was going to be a little better. Because they said a lot of really great things, it's supposed to be kind of this kind of sensual type of fragrance. They had this whole backstory, and the bottle looks amazing.
Well, yeah, I've got the bottle right here, and the bottle is a great looking bottle, and I think they probably spent too much time on the bottle and not enough time on the juice.
Absolutely, yeah. Once you've smelled about 5 fragrances, you have enough experience here to understand this is just a really pedestrian type of fragrance put in a really great bottle with a really great marketing campaign. And that's unfortunate because they really put all the money into something that is not the most important part. As for the way it smells, I get tonka, and that is the majority of what I get here. I also get a little bit of apple. The apple is welcome. I like apple in general, but the apple isn't as strong as I would hoped. I would have hoped that the apple would have added a little bit of a more fruity, kind of sour aspect to the top. But I really don't get as much of it there as I had hoped, because it's really mainly in the background. I can barely pick it up. And that's ultimately all I get here.
I get a lot of tonka as well, Dave, and it's interesting, again, that on my skin, it's tonka but this mint note is very tenacious for me, and I get it. But the problem with this is that everything smells so artificial, and I didn't want to use the word synthetic, because some synthetic materials in perfumery, or a lot of synthetic materials in perfumery, smell great.
Yeah.
But this, to me, just everything smelled artificial to me, and I got the mint bubblegum vibe on top of the tonka as well, and I also thought that it would have been nice to have a bit more of the apple coming through as well. You're right. It just smelled like you say. All the perfumes sprayed in, after a day of spraying and testing, and that's all you can smell. And someone's just put it in a bottle.
There are other fragrances out there that have kind of this kind of generic type of smell, and they're cheaper. Like I can think of like Polo Red is kind of in this type of genre. You mentioned Ultramal. Once you've smelled one molecule smell, you've kind of smelled them all. And then when someone releases something like this, I'm like, why? They could have done something just a little bit more interesting. With their whole theme of, eroticism and, sensuality and stuff like that, this is definitely not like a sexy fragrance.
No.
I could think of 100 fragrances that I think would be way far better than, as far as this type of marketing campaign, than a tonka-based fragrance. If you're out there and you're single looking for maybe a lady in your life, they're going to smell this fragrance on their previous boyfriends, 100 times over or whatever. They smelled this before. So it's not going to be something that's going to make you stand out at all.
There's just not a lot of redeeming features about this particular fragrance. It's certainly not a mature man's fragrance. I can't imagine why, and I'm not even talking about age, but I can't imagine any grown man wanting to wear this. It seems like such a entry level kind of fragrance for a young guy to get at a store, and they might like it, through their first bottle, and then after that, hopefully they're trying other stuff and expanding their noses.
I think especially for younger guys who maybe want to smell really good and they like maybe this genre of fragrances, I think, Chanel Allure Homme Sport is in this genre as well, but it stands out a lot more. This is just not as good as a tonka fragrance as some fragrances out there. There are definitely far better ones out there. So I think that's all the thoughts I have for this one. Really underwhelmed, not sexy to me at all. It's just kind of a one-note fragrance, literally. It's just tonka mostly. And they could have spent more time with this one. Totally agree. All right, so Pep, what about compliments? Did you get many compliments with this?
I did not get one compliment with this, Dave. And I need to preface this by saying that I very rarely get compliments with fragrances, but I certainly didn't get one with this one.
Yeah, my wife, she wasn't a big fan of this, mostly because it was pretty strong at first. But also, too, I think the smell was something that I think she said, it doesn't smell like you. And I agree. It's not something that I would normally wear. I also wore it around my brother. We were in the car for a little while doing some things with my family. So my brother really likes fragrances as well. And he would have smelled it, but he didn't say anything. So I know that he would have if he liked it, and he didn't. Yeah. I don't think this is one of those fragrances that's really going to be a compliment getter. It's just kind of just a run-of-the-mill fragrance that everyone has smelled before. If they smell you, they may say, "Oh, you smell nice," because you have a smell, and that might be the extent of it. Bang for buck, this is pretty inexpensive. It is about $42 for 100 ml. They also have a 6.7 ounce 200 ml for about $55. So if you really like it, that's a really good value there. I think overall, even for the 100 ml, I think that's a fair value for what you're getting. But I do think that if you're looking for this type of fragrance, you can find some that are cheaper. Like I said, Polo Red, I think, gets you in the ballpark. It's a lot cheaper. If you're looking for something better, definitely go with Allure Homme Sport. It's going to be more money, but you're going to be paying for something that's a little bit better quality. So, Pep, final rating, what do you give this?
Dave, I'm going to give this one for the bottle and one for the juice, so 2 out of 5.
Fair enough. I'm going to give this a 2 out of 5 as well. I do agree the bottle is beautiful. I think they just could have done better with the scent. It just comes off as bland and generic. Just has that mall smell, the molecule. There are worse fragrances out there that I've smelled, but I think you can just pass on this one. So that's all we have. Let us know if you tried Eros in the comments down below. Do you like it, love it, hate it? Let us know. And of course, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe down below. We'll love you for it. And I'll have a link to Pep's channel, The Sentinel, where you can go and check him out as well. Thanks again, Pep, for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, David. It was a pleasure.
We'll see you next time. We're the Fragrance Brothers. Bye. Thanks everyone for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to check out my other channel, Beast Made Reviews, where me and a friend review high quality products for men. You might like it. Go check it out.